How y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. And today we're going to do a disassembly and a reassembly. Part 1 and part 2. And what we're going to do a video of, the one that went to work with me today, this one right here. This is going to become Purple Rain. The one that you just saw the unboxing of yesterday. I decided I want to go ahead and dye it, take it apart, clean up the scales, and dye them. And I'm going to dye them with the new dye that I haven't never used before, so it's going to be a new one for me. I've always used the all-purpose ones before, ones like this. These are all-purpose. And I've never had super great luck with these either. But then again, I never did a white handle either. So, a white handle I'm sure would be easier to do. But this one's supposed to be for, G10 and materials like that, the synthetic. This is synthetic RIT dye. So this is what I'm going to try out today, and you'll see the results. I'm trying to make them royal purple. This color is called royal purple. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and take this apart. The first part is going to be the disassembly. The second part will be the reassembly after I dye the scales. I'm going to try to do it all in one day today. T6 on the pocket clip. And the rest is T8. As far as last time I took one apart, all the other hardware was T8s. Here's what the scale looks like. It's a solid slab of G10. This doesn't have any texturing or anything. It's a smooth G10. I think it's be awesome as being purple. This feels really smooth. Maybe I try to wet sand it a little bit before I try to dye it. Just to make just to give it a little better surface to adhere to for the dye. All these screws feel like they were Loctited. So we're taking it all the way apart. Here's the scales. Now you can see what all the parts look like. These are stainless steel, and they've been coated. I don't know what kind of coating they use. It looks like PVD. It looks like a fairly good coating. That's what the blade looks like. Let me see if you can see the markings on it now, huh? Yeah, there's... But I like the way they billboard on their blade. That's what I'm trying to show you. But I couldn't show you the other day. Isn't that nice billboarding? I think the way they do it is very classy and very stylish. It feels, you know, like top shelf. You know what I mean? It's got a real good feeling. You know, it looks real classy. It looks like it's a high-end item. The way that they do their billboarding. It doesn't look cheap and cheesy. It looks classy. I think the scales that I like so far the best are the Micarta. I love Kaiser's Micarta scales. I think Kaiser has some awesome Micarta they use to make their scales. But these are going to become royal purple. That's my goal, is to try to make these royal purple people. Purple people. So it sounds funny. So the liners, these are fairly heavy too. Let's see how thick the liners are now that we got it apart. Let me find out how thick they are. Because this knife, you know, the only thing that really feels heavy on the handle is these liners. These don't feel like anything. I mean, they have a little bit of weight to them. Let's see how much everything weighs. .1 ounce goes to the scales. 1.1 ounce. Now the blade has a thumb stud on it, so we're weighing the blade with the thumb stud. 1.5 ounces goes to the blade and the thumb stud. Let's see how the hardware weighs. And these do have the nylon cages, like I thought they would have. Nylon cages with double row bearings, ceramic bearings. All the hardware weighs 0.4 ounces. So like a half an ounce. No, not even a half an ounce. It's like 0.4. Okay. The liners, 2.4 ounces to the liners. Let's see how thick they are. 2.4 ounces. I really like the way that these are made. I think the only thing I can see that I would improve is I would like to have some skiff bearings. Whatever size these are, I would like. You know, Skiff may already make bearings. I never checked out the Skiff website. They might be making bearings for the Begleiter. If they do, I'm gonna get some Skiff bearings, people. I like this knife. 1.93. It's 2 millimeters thick. That's where the weight is. So you got 4 millimeters of thickness for the handles. Let's measure them together. Oh, I see. These are rounded. They have like rounding on them, or what do they call them, crowned. And so it looks like they're not fitting flat together, but they are fitting flat together because I can't see through them. Yeah, right. So, yep, almost 4 millimeters thick when you put them both together. These are stout. These are stout, people. This is a really good knife. That's what I'm trying to point out to you guys. And look where the bearing rides. Look how that's all nicely done. This is not a cheaply made knife. I mean, it's not a low quality, cheaply made knife. This is a very nice quality, high quality made knife. It's made very nicely. An American knife made like this would cost a lot. It wouldn't be cheap. The only reason why this is inexpensive and affordable because it's made in China. If a knife like this was made in the United States, it would be expensive. I'm trying to keep all my parts together. Get them all organized. All the screws look like they're the same size too. Except for these are the two. Yeah, those are the two screws for the pocket clip. Those are the small ones. Pretty basic. I mean, it's like, you know, here's a spring and here's a plunger. That's what the plunger looks like. I always put like grease inside of here. Now I put the spring inside of it, and it helps hold it when I put it all together too. All right, people. Well, this is the first video. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. And this is part one. Part one. Part one of Purple Rain. I'm a Prince fan. I always liked Prince in the 80s. I like Prince in the 80s. I'm sorry, people. And that may sound kind of goofy to some of y'all, but I am a Prince fan, so I like, and I have a purple Cogent, and I've been wanting another purple knife. I was going to do another Civivi, and then I got the Sin Cuts. I was going to do one of those, but I sort of like I like that natural JG10. And this, just like white G10, not JG10, I'm not really digging this too much. So I'm gonna make this Purple Rain. This is the one that got to be Purple Rain because I don't really like the color of these scales. I mean, it looks like they look kind of too generic for me. So we gotta dress them up a little bit, people. But anyway, that's part one, people. Part one. Peace out. Stiletto. See you on the next part.